I wander late through the hills, the water seems old. The breeze and the breeze and we hear long, long ago. The green rolls on my hillside, where birds and daisies song. The green old is still rain.
Goeiemôre. Ja, goeiemôre. Baie welkom by ons. Ons is vandag hier saam om aan die Margaret se lewe te vier. Sy het langer geleef as wat die meeste van ons gedagtes is. Sy het 'n baie ryk ouderdom van 97 jaar bereik. En dit is iets wat kan vier vandag. Jy kan sê sy het 'n diep spoor in 'n gemeenskap getrap, in ons lewens getrap. Sy is die ma van 3 dogters. En sy is die ouma van 7 kleinkinders. En die ouma grootjie van 12 agterkleinkinders gewees. Kan jy dit dink? Sy het 'n reuse stamboom gebou en sy het 'n nalatenskap gelaat waaroor ons die Here kan eer en kan dankie sê voor. Sy was nie altyd die maklikste mens nie, né? Sy het baie giere en geite gehad, maar sy het tog dit reg gekry om ons lewens te impakteer en daarvoor eer ons die Here. Kom ons bid saam. Here, dis in tye soos hierdie dat ons stil raak voor 'n lewendige God, Skepper van hemel en aarde. Dankie vir u liefde. Dankie vir die verdraagsaamheid oor ons lewens. Dankie dat ons weet dat u is wie u sê u is. Here, sonder terughou, gee u lewe. Here, maar u kom ook en kom help ons. Here, u versoen ons met die heerlikheid van God en u beklee ons met 'n kroon van die ewigheid. En daarom wil ons vandag vir u sê baie dankie vir Margaret se lewe, aan die Margaret, ma, ouma, 'n groot vriendin. Dankie dat sy ons lewens was. Dankie vir die voorreg wat ons het om te kon ken en ook vandag te kan sê totsiens. Dankie dat ons weet ons leef in ewigheidsverwagting en daarom kan niemand ons skei van die liefde van God. Eer u, dan bid u, vra u dat u ons sal troos deur die Heilige Gees in Jesus kosbare naam. Amen. Dis 'n voorreg om jou vandag hier te kan hê. Dis lekker om 'n paar oomblikke saam met jou te kan kuier en 'n lewe te kan vier. Toe ek aansienlik jonger was, het ek gedink, as jy 'n groot mens is, sal dit nie so bad wees om jou ma en jou pa te begrawe nie. Hoe vind jy dit al so geluk? As jy net oud genoeg word, dat jy selfstandig is, en jou ouers gaan dan dood, is dit beter as wat jy ma of jou pa verloor terwyl jy nog op skool is. Ek dink, en dis ek 'n volwasse mens, en ek het my ouers verloor, en dit is 'n diep wond. En toe dink ek, ja, dit sal daarom nice gewees het as mense net so 'n bietjie ouer word. Jy weet, as jou kinders ook al groot is, en ouma voorreg gehad om kinders te sien groot word, dan gaan dit maklik wees. Maar dit is nie die waarheid nie. Want al wat die 3 sissies hulle lewe lang ken, is ma sal daar wees. Al wat julle kleinkinders ken, julle lewe lank nog is, ouma sal daar wees. En die kleinkinders het groot geword met ouma Gaga, voorgestel aan haar, en ek hoor hierdie enetjie haar op die voor, pointjie na die TV en sê, daar's ouma Gaga. En ewe skielik besef ons, die lewe wat hy vir ons lang uit. 97 jaar. Dis letterlik die ewigheid. Maar dan sal ander nie so bevoorreg is. Ons lewens gaan kom, ons lewens gaan. Martha en Denise vertel my 'n mooi storie van oom wat daar saam met oumaatjie in die ouete huis is. En sy sê, die oom het elke oggend daar na oumaatjie toe gegaan en dan het hulle daar gesit. En dan het hulle What a Friend We Have in Jesus song gesing. Daarom gaan ons ook vandag sing en ons gaan verklaar. Wat 'n vriend ons in Jesus. Ons staan op.
What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we are for faith. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not care. Everything to God in prayer. Every trials and temptation. Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful who will all our sorrows share? Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord. Prayer.
Jesus is 'n voorreg om u vriend te kan weet dat u is daar vir ons. Selfs in ons tye wat ons oorlaai is met laste. Selfs in ons tye wat ons oorlaai is met seer. In tye wat ons oorweldig is deur die realiteit van die dood. Here, u dra ons laste, druk ons vas in die bors, vertroos ons, want u is ons God. Ons skepper is ons voorleerder. Ons het die aarde geplaas vir 'n spesifieke doel en tyd. Daarom ons hier nodig. Dat daar ook 'n tyd aanbreek. Die ons weer kom haal. Eer die daarvoor. Amen en amen. Dank ons Vader. Nee. Die woord van die Here kom en dan sê hy 'n paar wekkende goed van Psalm 90 vanaf vers 10. Psalm 90 is Moses se gebed. Meeste mense dink dat dis net Dawid wat psalms geskryf het. Hierdie is waarskynlik die oudste psalm wat geskryf is en dit is deur Moses. Vanaf vers 10 lees hy sê die getal van ons jare kan wees 70 of as ons sterf is 80. Maar selfs die beste daarvan is vol swaar kry en verdriet. Die lewe is gou verby. En dan staan ons nie meer. Ander skrif in die Nuwe Testament sê die dae van die mens is 70 jaar en dan 80 jaar as hulle sterk is en daarna gelede tyd. Oumaatjie, 97 jaar. Die Here het aan haar 17 jaar geleen. As 'n bonus, as 'n byvoegsel tot haar lewe. As ons kyk, dan het ek 'n klomp briefies en ons gaan nie alles vandag lees nie, maar daar's 'n klomp briewe wat ons ontvang. Maar hulle storie begin in 1929. En sy het 'n pa en 'n ma gehad en sy was een van 'n paar kinders gewees en sy het groot geword. En sy is eventueel getroud met 'n man wat sy ontmoet is terwyl hy sy diens verrig. En uit hulle huwelik uit is daar 3 kinders gebore en oumaatjie het haar ma versorg. Sy het gegee. Sy het haar eie man. Tot die dag hy nie meer was. En ek dink sy het baie van julle se trane afgevlees met hierdie jaar. En ek dink sy het partykeer vir julle gesê, sluk dit. En partykeer het sy, as jy bietjie nader aan Jesus getrek en partykeer het gedink, "Jo, maar wat nou?" Dis oud. Maar is alles nie waar. Maar vandag, as kyk na die woord van die Here, dan beloof die Here vir ons geskep het 'n spesifieke doel, 'n spesifieke taak. En God het elkeen van ons geroep tot 'n spesifieke taak. En die Here gaan aanhou om daai taak in jou lewe aan te hou, of jy besê dis tyd om jou deel te doen. Dan kom ook 'n tyd waar die Here sê, by elke begrafnis, baie begrafnis wat ek al bygewoon het, sê die persoon wat voor staan, dit het die Here behaag om so en so te kom haal. Die mooiste blommetjies gepluk en nou sê hy hier in die tuin. Ek weet nie van daai. Maar ek dink as jy 97 jaar oud, dan het die Here jou. En dan sit jy boesem van die Vader, druk jou vas en hy sê vir jou, welgedaan, goeie vrou. Dink die Here, kyk oor haar en sê, welgedaan. Hierdie resies gehardloop, hierdie prys verkry, tyd. Baie keer dan verloor ons mense die jong is. Baie keer as daar stories wat sê, maar ek wens ek het vir oumaatjie nog 'n drukkie gegee. Of daar's nog 'n storie wat ons moes deel. Of jy sê as jy nie 'n storie gedeel het in 97 jaar nie, is die waarskynlikheid dat jy dit sou deel met. As jy nog 'n laaste drukkie moes gekry, jy baie tyd gehad om dit te doen. Ek is seker julle het dit. Ek is seker jy sit hier vanmôre sonder regrets. Want die Here het jou ma, ouma, grootjie jou vriendin, vir soveel jare in die lewe ingevleg. En jou vertrou met haar vertrou. Ja. Die woord van die Here is baie duidelik oor wat gebeur met ons wanneer ons tot sterwe kom. Jesus se eie woorde is, en na die dood, die straf, die dood en die oordeel. Daar's nie tussen kamers en wagperiodes en allerlei slaapse goed wat ons gebeur nie. Ons sterf, kom hom hier. Ja, hy gee vir ons dood. Ons dood is een van 2 dinge. Of 'n ewige hemel in sy teenwoordigheid, of 'n ewige hel. En teenwoordigheid die moorskrif baie mooi en hy sê, en teenwoordigheid van die volheid se wraak. Dis een van die twee. Daar's niks tussen. Daar's niks wat ons kan doen van ons kant af om iemand se ewige lotsbestemming te verander wanneer hulle aangegaan het. Om baie van mekaar doen terwyl ons nog lewe. Baie wat ons kan sê, kan mekaar teregwys, kan mekaar bemoedig, kan mekaar ondersteun, ons kan mekaar help. Maar wanneer die einde van ons lewens aangebreek, dan is dit finaal. Margaret, ek het die voorreg gehad om 'n paar keer in my lewe te ontmoet. Een van die grootste ontsteltenisse wat ek met haar gedeel het, was die afsterwe van haar skoonseun, wie se baie was. Dit was ook graag. Die dag van een John se diens, sê het, is te jonk. Hoekom het die Here haar nie eerder gemaak? Aand voor haar afsterwe, sy het die familie vertel, sy het saam met John gesit en omgegeen. En was ek vreemd, want John was reeds weg. Maar sy het 'n blik gekry van waar hy sou gaan. Sy het 'n verlange gehad om te gaan. Hy was weg. Hy was uitgesit. Sy het geweet, die gesprekke wat sy moes gehad het, sy gehad. Sien is daar gesprekke wat jy moes gehad het, wat nou gaan gebeur. Sy was uitgesit. Sy het bereik wat sy wil gaan. En nou groet ons. As jy ons tot ziens voelt. Haar God en haar verlosser. Daar in die lewe uitgetrek. En hy het gesê, Margaret, dat jy my sê. Volledig. Jy gedeel so baie mense. Was 'n man met die naam van Dennis. Gavin. En hy sou saam met een van haar dogters, Trikas kyk. En hy het die familie kontak gehad. Die hele lewe. En hy skryf die volgende brief. En hy sê, please allow me to say a few words with respect to my knowledge and association with Miss Jones, family, on the sad occasion. I regret not being in Witbank to attend the service with you all. The passing of Miss Jones is an end of an era regarding the parents and the people who lived on the TNC mine in my mind. First, I met the Jones family in 1965 with a special young schoolboy, and I had contact with him, and especially Miss Jones and later Denise, and all these years, despite not having been living in Witbank since 1969. From there also, mense hou nie kontak met mense wat nie indruk losstuur. Nie vir 50 jaar my tyd. As a daughter, I know she was very close to her mom and nursed her for a long period after her mom came ill. As a good wife and mom, she kept a beautiful home and garden together with her husband Dennis, whom she nursed when Mr. Jones went through a difficult period after retiring. Together, they raised 3 young daughters. Together, they raised 3 young girls and brought them up to being ladies as they are today. and made sure they towed and lined and necessary and gave them as much love and care and kindness as all three of them throughout their lives. The grand and the great grands showed great care for them, each and every one. And the grandchildren that I have met, she really loved as well. Joneses were good friends to my parents. Joneses was caring and loving, and she was a real matriarch of the family. Miss Jones loved flowers and always contacted me uh, and sent, as I sent them to her on her birthday and Christmas time. She loved animals and had them all around the house and many times as I can remember. Miss Jones en die Margaret en my Gaga, het bestaan in 24 kykies aangehou. In die huis. En vir hulle gesorg. En dan het sy nie omgegee om 'n strydhondjie ook in te gaan. Om te versorg en seker te maak sy versorg hulle. Sy is 'n lewenslange lid gewees van die SPCA. En ek dink partykeer is dit makliker om diere lief te kry as mense, né? En sy het dit buitelik gedoen. Dat sy omgegee uitgereik het aan mense en diere. Betrokke geraak het daar waar haar dood was. Dat gaan ons nog doen. En elkeen van die familie wat iets voorberei het om te sê, gaan ek nooi om dit te kom doen. Eers my die geleentheid gee. Dan gaan ons so af met die paadjie en dan laaste gaan ons luister na sy boodskap.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize 14 months later I would be standing up here again and doing the hardest thing that a person can do in your life, is saying bye to somebody. And how do I say goodbye? Goodbye to a person that was my mother, my confidant, my best friend, and my anchor. To the world, you were a mother, but to me, you were the world. 1990, when Daddy laid his head down to rest, he asked me to take care of you. I made him the promise. And John and I did so. You were part and parcel of our and our children's lives till the day you laid your head to rest. I could have not wished for a better mother. You were there for me, for John, my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. You were the best example of a true mother-in-law, and John could not have wished for a more loving, kind mother-in-law, to such an extent that everybody thought you were his mother and I the daughter-in-law. Then you were the one that chose him for me, arranging a coffee date at home for him and I, a true matchmaker. The two of you were inseparable, always laughing and getting up to mischief. Oh yes, and they were always debating as well. The saying goes, 2 peas in a pod. That definitely was John and my mom. John D, Dylan and Sancho were so blessed to have such a wonderful, loving, caring, soft-hearted Gaga. You were there for them from the minute they were born. A grandmother whom they called Gaga. Good memories have been made. Sleepovers, particularly every Friday night. The sweetie cupboard stocked up for the daily visits. My children soon realizing that they could actually bring a chair closer to the cupboard and help themselves to the sweets in the sweetie cupboard. Your kitchen was the heart of your home, baking and cooking together. This is who I learned from, and being a grandmother myself now, I have learned from my mom that you do not babysit your grandchildren. You have play dates with them. You were the awesome grandmother-in-law to Nikita and Yolanda, accepting them as your own granddaughters. Thank you, Gaga, for the love and care toward my children. Then you were privileged to meet your 4 great-grandchildren. What an honor. With Linka and Ileana being older, they spent more time with you and were always ready. You were always ready for them, thriving on their visits, with a chocolate in your hand, handing them a piece, and playing with your teddies brought hours of excitement. You know, I just want to share something that I've actually forgotten to put in here. The day that we heard Gaga passed away, my 2 little granddaughters wanted to know, where's Gaga going to get her chocolates from now if she's not here? So it was a lot of explaining to do. You were known to Linka and Illy as their chocolate Gaga, to such an extent that they were worried about you now. Who is going to give Gaga chocolate with Jesus, is the question being asked. You were even trying to give Emia a piece of chocolate the other day at the age of 4 months. I think if you had chocolate at EPH, you would have tried to feed Luca a piece as well, being 1 month. Thank you to my children for being part of Gaga's life and making your children part of hers as well. Even the short period that they were in her life, it meant the world to her. Mom kept a balanced life with hobbies. Her needlework was faultless. Homemade dresses, jerseys, embroidered tablecloths, doilies, you name it, and she did it. I used to be the one at the mine that used to have the homemade dresses, and I used to think, geez, my whole friendship circle had bought dresses, fancy dresses. As a child, you don't appreciate these items that your mom makes for you until you have your own children. Your own children, and you then cherish the items made for you by her when she is no longer available to do the needlework. My mom and dad were very big caravanners. Caravanning was my mom and dad's life. The caravan club for monthly breakaways, Scottsboro, regardless of whatever's going to happen, every year they booked to go back to Scottsboro. When John and I bought our caravan, she was part of our weekends away, giving instructions from sitting over there on her chair. But I must also admit, the reason why we put her over there on the chair is because I don't know if she had a magnet in her head that every time we put a tent up, the pole fell over and it would hit Gaga on the head. So we kept her over there, but she still had the instructions of don't put the pole that way, put it that way. Her animals. She was a lifelong member of the SPCA. Any stray animal, dogs or cats, found their way to our house at any one stage. We had 25 cats at one stage and 3 to 4 dogs. Her last animal at Eden Park was a ringneck bird called Cookie. And yes, he too was fed chocolate and Coke and called her name when she went out the room by Margaret. Gardening, her pride and joy. Fruit-bearing trees, vegetable gardens, and a garden full of color, full of flowers, which made you feel you were in heaven. My children used to love Gaga's garden with the granny dillas. They never called them granadillas, they called them granny's dillas. Grapes, apricots, strawberries, apples, gooseberries, you name it. They were there. I must admit, the 3 kids weren't too keen on the vegetable patch, but there was just something different to Gaga's vegetables homegrown. My children seemed to eat veggies at my mom's house, but not at mine, possibly the fresh homegrown vegetables. I would like to also, in here, talking about food and vegetables, thank Immergroen, which gave her such good care. I moved her from Eden Park. I'm not going to go into why I did it. She used to eat 3 meals a day, her vegetables, when she got to Immergroen. She used to argue with them, yes, they called her Kung Fu Panda because she was so fierce. But I just want to take the opportunity now of saying that she was at Immergroen and she thoroughly enjoyed the last couple of months that she was there. The life of the party crept into everybody's hearts. Her bestie Tannie Magda were inseparable. Friends, my mom had a small circle of friends, but the friends that she did have, she kept for many years. Oma Griet, who has now passed away, Oma Magda, that is still at Immergroen, Auntie Norma, a very few that I can name that are still her very good friends. I just want to thank all of them. Our Sunday activities, John, myself, and our children, used to be the highlight of the week. Going to the mall, doing her shopping, and having lunch, which was malva pudding and a couple of glasses of wine. That was all she wanted. I remember a couple of years back getting a call from Eden Park to please come over with my mom's bank card. She had gone shopping in the Eden Park Hall and she had spent in those years up to 3,000 Rand on new clothes because she needed to redo her cupboard. So off I went with her bank card and we did buy those clothes because that is what she wanted. She was always neatly dressed with pearls around her neck and lipstick on her lips. She took care of herself, dressing herself every morning and night until she laid her head down to rest at 96, taking care of herself. I want to take this opportunity to thank my children once again for all the help that they have given me with my mom and being there for me. I can tell you it was the worst week that I had with Sancho when she landed up in ICU now. And to my boys this side and their wives, who really were a great help, knowing that there was somebody to look after them. Sancho, today, Gaga's little monkey, I'm so sorry that you are able to be here. Work permitting, you could not get off. But I know Gaga would have said to you, that's okay, lovey, I understand, but you will be in my heart. She will be missed by us. And the visits, the laughs, the gifts, and everybody getting together with her, it was just awesome. I can't wish for a better life that I have had with my mom and vice versa. She was just absolutely my everything. I just want to also, in some of the thank yous that Christo is going to mention, I want to add to it for Gavacy from Legacy. Every time something happened with Mom, I would phone him and then she would say, oh, my angel is here. And that would be it. He would decide if she's going to hospital or if she's not. Gavin's not here today, but I will convey the message to him. The flowers from Gavin and Gerda, I do truly appreciate. Cindy, your contribution with a platter of food. And everybody else here, I know everybody that is here is somebody that meant a part in my mom's life. And I truly, truly appreciate it. I am absolutely devastated because you actually think she will go on forever, but your time does come. You never prepared for it, but I can say she really had a very full life, and I do appreciate it. And thank you for being here today. Pastor Krista will do the thank yous, and then, yeah, I don't think I've left anything out, but if I have, it's just my mom meant the world to me, and she will forever live in my heart. She will be missed by all of us, and she must rest in peace, and we will carry her always with us in our hearts. Rest peacefully, Mom.
The afternoon after Gaga passed, got home and Dinka came to me. She said, Gaga is my baby for Jesus. You know, coming from a little one, comes out the heart. I know, coming from her, Gaga's baby Jesus, Gaga told me just before she passed, was sitting with Daddy, and she spoke to Daddy. I said to Gaga, where's Daddy? She said, yeah, Daddy's standing here. Yeah, that whole afternoon sat speaking to my father. And if it's coming from Lincoln's heart, and I know Gaga is there, Daddy's also there. Gaga was more than just our grandmother. She was the heart of our family. A loving, strong, kind, and an independent woman. She carried herself with quiet grace and a warmth that made everyone feel safe and cared for. To us, she was pure goodness. Some of our sweetest memories are the simple ones. Seeing her arrive in our iconic Nissan Langley to pick us up from school, and the little 10 Rand note she would always slip into our hands and smile. It was never about the money. It was her way of showing love, her way of saying, I'm thinking of you. We'll always cherish the time spent at her home, playing in her fruit garden, where laughter came easily and life felt simple and full. We remember warm afternoons sitting in her car, listening to songs on the radio while soaking up the gentle sunlight. Quiet moments that now feel so incredibly special. Gaga never had a harsh word. I remember times where we used to even try to get her to curse once or twice and she wouldn't do it. She was patient, gentle, and never seemed to get angry. She lived her faith every single day, not in what she said, but in how she treated people with kindness, humility, and compassion. She truly was a perfect example of a Christian woman, a living angel of God among us. She lived a full and beautiful life, just short of 100 years. A life filled with love, family, faith, and most importantly, quiet strength. Though our hearts are heavy, we are incredibly grateful for the time we had with her and for the legacy of love she leaves behind. Gaga, you will always be with us. In our hearts, in our memories, in our values, and in the love you taught us to share. You will be deeply missed, but never forgotten.
Gaga, words can't express the emptiness that's been left behind. As kids, our weekends didn't just go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Gaga's day. Saturday, Gaga lunch day. We would count the hours until you fetched us from school on a Friday so we could go to your house, whether it was fruit picking in the garden or trying out new baking ideas. My favorite was always the baking, because I'd make sure I was first in line to lick the utensils afterwards. I remember the time we found a recipe for tennis biscuits, coconut and condensed milk balls. Let's just say the cleanup afterwards was not as fun as making the treats. We had coconut shavings and flour everywhere, and not to mention the condensed milk stuck on every surface in the kitchen. And somehow, after all of that, we were still allowed to do science experiments, mixing bicarb and vinegar in a medicine container to see what happens. Well, what happens is an explosion that chases the dogs out of the kitchen for 3 days and earns us a proper scolding. Sleepovers at Gaga was never boring. You always found a way to keep us entertained, teaching us to sew, telling us stories about how mommy cut Opa's roses, or how Izzy, Bob, and mommy once played vet and cut the cat's whiskers. There was never a dull moment when we were with you. Saturdays after a sleepover meant lunch at Spur. Now, at 8 or 9 years old, John Deere and I were supposed to order from the kiddies' meal, but that never seemed to fill us. So we got to order from the big people's menu. And then afterwards, Sanche, obviously, who ordered from the kiddies' meal, would get a toy. And we would find it unfair, as how can she only get a toy and we don't? Somehow you'd work your magic talking to the manager, and all three of us would walk out with a kiddies' meal toy. I think what's going to catch me the most is when I look at my arm covered in tattoos and hear your voice say, "You made a sexy arm look so ghastly." Oh, wow, that's terrible. Or when you'd pinch me in my side and giggle like you had discovered something mischievous. I used to laugh when Yolanda would speak to you in English, by the way, and you'd whisper to me, "Do you understand her? Because I don't think it's English." Sharing chocolate slabs. Will never be the same. You'd break a piece off for everyone and say, "Now that's it." But the moment someone finished, you'd quietly offer another piece. Gaga, although your passing has left an emptiness nothing can fill, the memories you've given will live on in your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. We loved you while you were here. We love you still, and we always will. Yes, I know Daddy is happy to see you, but please give him all his grief. Love you, Gaga.
When I decided that I kind of felt like I did it. And the big part of me just wanted to be, you know what? I did need to do this. And I do owe this to my grandma. But this last week I didn't start because realistically we all knew that it would happen. We all knew that one day we would get it done. But to a good extent, some of us might have thought that Gaga would outlive us all. Because she always just bounced back. This time she didn't. And it caught me off guard, and I was really, really struggling. It made this letter really, really. And I found myself kind of not questioning God, but asking the question of what does it mean to use a grandmother? Should it be hurting this much? Should it feel like somebody has ripped? How do you even move forward from having all of those things? And I also realized I might be asking God, because I don't think there is a simple answer. Not when your grandmother was a remarkable woman. How do you move forward from losing someone who helped shape your heart? And that brings me to my next. My dearest God, you were never just my grandmother. You were my home. My grandmother wasn't just some person. No, she was a lady. She was always dressed in a suit. Her jewelry always matched. Her outfits were carefully chosen. And she carried herself with such grace and dignity. In my 32 years, I never once heard her cuss. Even though, believe me, every single grandchild tries to make her slip. Never did. She was steady, composed, and so beautifully proper. But yet, she was never bored. She was always ready for an adventure, and would always have a witty answer waiting. Quick, clever, and perfectly timed. That was my Gaga. It was such an honor to be able to call you mine. Even though I was in the UAE and you were in South Africa, you were my person. Distance stage. Every video call, every photo, every name. I will cherish them for you. I don't know what I'm going to do with my first visit home. Because my first stop was always you. My time in South Africa was always you. However, I need you to know that it was and always will be utmost honor. I've been in each and every time. Growing up, you taught me so many things. You taught me how to bake and how to cook. Not just recipes, but love measured in handfuls and patience varied. Most importantly, though, taught me about Jesus, not just through words, through the way he lived. Gentle, faithful. Friday nights were always our nights. Just the three of us kids at Margaret. Sleepovers that felt like the highlights of every week. Cupboard, packed to the brim of food, just waiting for us. And a garden full of fruits and imagination. Their celebrations led to a simple, sacred. Then came Leon. Seeing you with her was one of the greatest gifts of my life. The way your eyes softened, Oh boy, the way he wanted to share chocolate with her, just like he did with us. It was as if time folded in on itself. Generations connected by love, sweetness, and laughter. Maybe Thistle. She couldn't believe that she would grow up knowing who her Gaga was. I will tell her about your grace, your faith, your strength, your perfectly matched words, your witty answers, and your adventurous stories. I will teach her to think the way that you taught me. And I will definitely tell her about our Friday sleepover. And how it was so easy to just go and pick fruit straight from the garden. The legacy doesn't end here. It lives in me, and it will live in her. I really thought I could do this. I don't know how to move forward without you. Not yet anyways. But I know that everything you planted in me, faith, warmth, generosity, dignity, and resilience, will continue to grow. Thank you for being my safe place. Thank you for being my teacher. But most of all, thank you for being my God. May you raise me, and I'll love you forever.
Baie dankie. Dis 'n voorreg om 'n ouma te groet. Nie 'n lekker voorreg nie, maar dis 'n voorreg. Dat sy oumaatjie het geleef. Die Here het daar gehaal. Daar julle voor die bedankings soos die familie aan my verskaf. Firstly, we would love to thank family and friends attending the funeral, as well as those that is watching funeral on a live stream. Then funeral home, Derek and staff, all the members, for the efficient way, kind-hearted way you handled Mom and us, the rest of the family. DPH, casualties, and ICU. To all the sisters, nurses, doctors, and especially a huge thank to you, Dr. Mamola, Sister Siskona, and Sister Portia, Gavin and Gerda, for the beautiful flower arrangement and beautiful words today. They've pitted a flower shed for beautiful church arrangements. Cindy to receive for a plate of sandwiches. Del Walker for the plate of sandwiches. UI Marketing, stuff for the printing of the canvases. LM Streaming, Johan Lawrence for the live stream. They that make it possible for all Mom's family and friends to attend the funeral online. Our ACES for the water being bottled by you guys. Thank you so much. Immergroen, Sister Yolandi, Sister John, and all Mom's caregivers. Thank you for making Mom's life better and the place of residing at Immergroen. Thank you all for attending service today. Love and respect, condolences, sympathy for the family. Then a huge thank you to my sisters, my children, Gandhi, Dylan, and Chanshay, to in-law children, Nikita and Yolanda, all those helped make Uma's life. Father God, come to you. We bow down and we acknowledge you as the God of life. God that's also calling us. Come back to you. Lord, thank you that you will call us for thy obedience. Therefore, we have a chance and the ability to say, we need more of you in our lives. Give us the wisdom and understanding to allow you in the greater part of our lives. As you did, Gaga and Margaret. We love you for that. Father, as we are going to greet you right now, ask that you will give us your love and your comfort. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. As we are going to watch the slideshow of Uma's life, we're going to greet her at the table. Say our goodbyes.
I wandered today through the hills, and the one to see you. The creek and the green old hill, as we used to laugh long ago. The green rolling on from the hill range, where birds and daisies grow. The green old hill is still rain. You and God were young. Always say that I keep on repaying. I think I might so overstand. My face is a well-written page. Rain and time all alone was the pain. They say we have outlet our time. Rain and there's song that we song. Unto me, you're as fair as you were. When you and I were young. They say we have outlet our time. Rain, there's song that we song. Unto me, you're as fair as you were. When you and God were young. When you and God were young.
Baie dankie dat jy hier was vandag. Vir die tyd. Trou van die Here jou toevou, sy liefde jou beskerm, oral waar jy beweeg. Meer is dit, mag die Here stories van ouma in jou lewe wakker hou. Welkom almal te groet by die tafel. Eet en drink saam met die familie iets. En hierdie dag verder. Tel 'n storie.